So, welcome everyone to gentle or wind down yoga. We're going to start today from a seated position with our legs in whatever comfortable shape they might find themselves in. Just stretch out or draw in depending on your mood, depending on your comfort. I always like to remind people to connect with their sits bones and just press into the floor as you lengthen your spine. Just kind of tighten areas of the core to hold yourself up with ease. Yes, there's some effort, but there's also places that are still at ease in the body, in the upper body especially. And let's close down our eyes. Just let yourself settle, whatever position you've chosen on the mat. And find your breath and begin to follow it. See if you can lengthen your breath. This might automatically happen as you sit in stillness. Your body's slowing down, your breath can slow. Your cells don't need as much oxygen. And so we're really kind of aiming for this place where we're at ease. And we're pulling our awareness inside, focusing on our body from the inside, and really focusing on our yoga from the inside. I like to think of doing yoga from the inside out. So go with what feels good. Don't worry about the outside. Don't worry about how you look. There is no one look. And with the body hopefully somewhat more settled, the mind will begin to quiet. Giving ourselves space in our heads by really taking our awareness outside of our brain, outside of our mind, where we usually reside, and either focusing on sensations of the body elsewhere or focusing on the breath and how it's moving through, in and out, and among. Notice that the breath might really be slowing down. And what we'll do here very gently is we'll see if we can insert a pause somewhere, maybe after the inhale, maybe after the exhale. You decide. And just see if you can sit with that for a moment or two. See if you can play with the length of the pause. Maybe refine things about the inhale or the exhale as well. Smooth it out. And maybe your mind's wandering. Maybe your brain is having trouble turning off. That sometimes happens. Just stay with it by coming back to your breath, not worrying about how often your brain takes you away. It happens all the time to me when I practice as well. And we'll continue with this 3-part breath. If you'd like to change where the pause is, you could do that. You could even move it into a 4-part breath with 2 pauses. Go with how you feel today, right now in this moment. And let's do about 5 more rounds. And when you're ready, release the breath, release the control with the pauses. Try to maintain the smoothness, the length. And let's flutter open our eyes. And just let our breath continue to move within us as we wiggle our fingers, maybe even stretching the legs out, wiggling the toes. Maybe pointing and flexing the feet, maybe rolling the wrists, the ankles, maybe even the shoulders. Moving your legs into any comfortable position once again, maybe switching it up from the last time. Let's begin with some sun breaths. I'd like to offer you the use of sun breaths. As you inhale, you can lift your arms up. Exhale, you lower your arms down, palms down. They're very easy, simple way to connect with your body. And you can move in your sun breaths at your own pace, rotating your palms up and down as you lift and lower. Moving with the breath. This is a good kind of awakener if you're feeling tired or you're having a food coma after a meal or something. And it allows the upper body, at least the spine, to be able to really move and stretch and elongate. We'll release our arms down by our side. You can switch positions again if you'd like. You might want to try placing the feet flat on the floor right in front of you, arms by your side. You could lean up against a wall and do this, or a piece of furniture, or sit in a chair even. So, in addition to moving the arms in sun breaths, I'm going to teach you a little vinyasa flow. We'll do it very gently, however, called morning greeting, even though it's the middle of the afternoon here when I'm recording this. It's all right. I do it at all times of the day. We'll inhale our arms up. It's a sun breath, just the same start as before. However, on the exhale, we'll bring our hands to our heart. As we inhale next, we won't move. As we exhale, we'll stare straight ahead and bring our hands and arms straight out in front of us, as close as that we can get the palms together here. On the next inhale, we'll come into a cow pose by drawing our hands away from each other and allowing them to come as far back behind us as we can get them, really opening the chest here. And then exhale, the next exhale, we'll bring the hands together once more and tuck the chin towards the chest. The next inhale brings the hands to the heart. The next exhale releases the arms and hands by your side. Let's do this 3 more times together so that you can get the rhythm of it and get the pace and get the sequence down. And we'll practice this next week as well so that you have another way to move your body when you're not in a yoga class, something that might come to your mind quickly as an idea. And then you can follow through and get a little more movement into your day. Let's inhale, our arms come up overhead as we greet the morning. Exhale, hands come to your heart. Inhale. Exhale, hands come in front of you, gaze is straight forward. As you inhale, we'll lift the chin, send the hands back behind us, arch the back. Exhale, sweep the arms forward, round the shoulders, tuck the chin. Inhale, rotate the hips back into neutral position as you bend the elbows and bring the thumbs in. Exhale to release the hands by your side. Inhale to lift. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale. Exhale, hands straight out. Inhale, cow. Arching the back, cat. Rounding the shoulders. Inhale, hands to heart. Exhale, arms by the side. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale. Exhale, hands and gaze forward. Inhale. Cow. Exhale. Cat. Inhale. Hands to the heart. Exhale. Release the arms by your side. Let's come into butterfly pose by bringing the soles of the feet together. We want to be pressing into those sits bones, same as we were with our legs in other positions. And we want our toes and heels to line up. Our knees release out by our sides. And we'll just grab a couple of blocks and allow ourselves to prop up the legs, maybe where the thighs meet the floor, or maybe under the knees. You're finding a way to prop yourself. This gives your muscles and tissues permission to release and relax more than just hanging in the air, unsupported. See if you can find your neutral pelvic angle and with your spine and the S curve. Holding tight in your core. Maybe even still sitting against a wall if that helps support you, or keeping your hands by your side. Making little modifications when you think of them to help your yoga be more accommodating for you. Let's move from our butterfly now into either the easy pose, which is crisscross applesauce, or into caterpillar or staff pose here with the legs extended. Let's first press through both heels. Extending the legs after that butterfly, keeping those knees bent, and now just being able to have the fluids move up and down the leg freely once again. From here, we'll move into the 7 movements of the spine. And the first one, let's inhale the arms up overhead in a sun breath. And we're going to leave the arms up overhead and just breathe here, finding as much extension as possible without lifting the chin. Think of your fingertips lifting to the sky and the crown of your head lifting to the sky. Let's exhale to come forward into a forward fold. Letting the hands come down and support us, letting the shoulders round, the head can drop, the chin can tuck. The arms can be weighted or can be weights to help you release your spine. Maybe it's too much to have the chin tucked, so you untuck it. Maybe it's too much to have the shoulders rounded, so you keep your spine straight. All different modifications that you can choose. We'll inhale and we'll come back straight up and down. Let's release our arms by our side and we'll inhale one arm up overhead. We want to lean towards the opposite way and bring the arm we lifted to the other side of our body, up over our head. And let's just go back and forth in these half crescent side stretches or lateral stretches, moving the spine two more ways, left side and right side. The next time one arm is lifted, let's come back to sitting up nice and tall, arms by our side. Let's bend up through one knee and bring the foot to the floor. We'll take the opposite hand, sitting up nice and tall, and we'll wrap that arm or hand around the knee. Just give yourself some leverage there to be able to sit up nice and tall. See if you can turn your chest towards the bent knee and have the arm on that side. Slip back behind you by your hips so that it helps support your body. Lifting the upper half to the ceiling while grounding the lower half to the floor. With an inhale, lift the crown of the head. Let an exhale, have you twist, looking back behind you, even with your eyes, bringing chin to the back shoulder. And then exhaling to release, we'll move to the other side, straightening one leg, bending up through the opposite knee. Bringing our arms back into position, pressing through the lengthened legs, heel. Sitting up nice and tall on the next inhale. And exhaling to twist. Using the eyes back behind you too. Nice. Breathing. And then on the next exhale, releasing and coming forward. Let's do the last two movements of the spine from table. So bring your towel or blanket under your knees and set up your hands and your shoulders, your feet, knees, and hips so that you're like a tabletop, flat. Find a comfortable position, flatten your feet maybe, or keep your toes curled under. And from here, let's come into cat-cows, just like we did in morning reading, where we round the spine like a Halloween cat, and then release the navel to arch the back. Tailbone lifts, chin lifts slightly before we curl tailbone and head toward one another. Once again, just flowing back and forth at your own pace. Last two movements of the spine. Pressing into the floor with the knees and hands, maybe the tops of the feet or the toes, and then bringing the spine to neutral. Let's extend our right foot back behind us, coming up onto the toes, and just stretch that leg out as far as you can and let the toes float down to the mat. Let's pick up the opposite hand and elbow and draw the knee that's back behind us towards the opposite elbow. We can move very slowly here. We can take breaks. We can adjust where the right hand is placed, making sure we're staying stable, taking care of that wrist. And when you're ready, you can come down onto your forearms and let your wrists roll back and forth, left to right, in circles and figure eights, moving the fingers, just bending and straightening the wrist, moving it all around. And then coming back up onto making our table shape here. We'll extend the left foot back this time, really reaching back with the leg. letting the toes float down, finding that strength here in our three um, stable table corners and extensions or legs. And then we'll go ahead and bring elbow to knee. We can extend the right hand forward if we'd like, as we extend the left foot back behind us, curling up to touch elbow to knee. Letting the core strengthen here, working on the balance, resting when we need to. That left wrist, getting a lot of tension building up in it as we strengthen opposite sides of the body, front to back. We'll make our way from here into lizard pose or dragon pose. We can step the left foot forward if you'd like to use blocks to keep yourself a little lifted, to be able to lean onto that right side, to step the left foot forward and then release the hips towards the floor, scooching that foot up enough to align the heel with the left knee, and then letting the hips release. Keeping yourself lifted as much as you want, using any height on the blocks if you have them. If you don't, piles of books or a strong, thick book can be helpful. And let's go ahead and shift the hips back. We'll press into that front foot to do so. Excuse me. And then we'll lift just the toes, the left toes up off the mat, keeping that left heel grounded, reaching our hips back to stretch the left forward leg. And we might rock back and forth here. From our runner's lunge to our hamstring stretch. The next time you're in runner's lunge, stay there and come into lizard by letting the left hand and arm come inside that left leg. Some people like to lower down towards the mat, maybe coming onto forearms or even lower. When you're ready to release, inhale to shift your hips back. Maneuver your body so that you can draw this left foot so that the knee can come right underneath you. Draw that left foot back. We'll switch sides, drawing the right foot forward. Coming into the runner's lunge over here. Left leg straighten back behind. Hips releasing towards the ground. And then let's move, shift the hips backward, pressing into that right foot, keeping the right heel grounded as we lift the right toes, the ball of the foot, the arch. Stretching the hamstring as we release the hips towards that back heel. And then we'll move forward using props, using just the hands on the floor to let the body rotate in between these two stretches. Maybe staying longer in one place than in another. And as you slide back and forth with the hips, stop when your body, lower body is making a pinwheel shape. We'll come up to standing from here by tucking under our back left toes, pressing into the ball of the foot to lift the back knee, drawing that leg up under the foot, up under, right next to the right, and then pressing down through both feet to lift the body, maybe even lifting the arms up overhead in the amount, and then exhale, bring the hands to the heart or bring them down by your side. All right. I'm going to move my prop out of the way. Set it there for final Shavasana. From standing here, let's do another kind of nice core flow for when you want to maybe wake up a little bit after a lunch or after this class tonight. Let's do some sun breath standing. So find your mountain shape first. Where is it that your feet feel comfortable as far as the width apart that they are? Then line up your toes and your heels. Stand kind of tall and proud, but without a whole lot of effort. There should be ease in places of the body too. And on your next inhale, when you're ready, lift your arms up, palms up. Exhale, hands can come down by your side. You can inhale your arms up straight in front of you. And then down by your side. You can inhale arms either direction and then bring hands to your heart. Just going with these not morning greeting, but with these sun breaths to bring the energy from the room into the body, allowing us to focus still and get some more things done. All right, let's try lifting the heels. If you'd like to shift to be able to lean against a wall, you may go do that. Inhaling the arms up, palms up, heels up. Exhaling, arms down, hands down, heels down. Working on balance here. Accepting ourselves where we are. Maybe we need a lot of help from the wall. Maybe we don't. Safety, our number one priority. Let's release and come back onto the mat if you've left. We'll walk our feet out wide as we start a mandala flow. This mandala flow is going to start facing your screen. You'll get to see what we're doing on this side. And then when we get to where we're not facing the screen and we're facing the opposite direction, you'll have done this before and maybe be able to make yourself feel like you know what's coming next or sort of know the order. So we'll move from this wide angle into a forward fold. So hands on hips, begin to bring your head, neck, and chest forward. You can bend your knees any amount. You could start to reach your hands down. You can grab your blocks, use those to support you. The idea is to press through your heels and lift up through your hips towards the sky. Let the upper body surrender over the lower body. Press down through your feet as you inhale and lift back up. We're going to come all the way up to standing. And then let's turn the foot closest to the bottom of the mat, 90 degrees, and bend that same knee, coming into a warrior two position. Find your warrior two legs. Draw the bent knee towards the smaller toes, opening the tissues more along the inside of the thigh here. And then if you're ready, inhaling to lift your arms. Find length in the torso through the crown of the head, but pressing and rooting into the floor with the lower part of the body. Let the next exhale release the hands down by your side. We'll straighten that bent knee and we'll turn the foot so that we can face the front again, and we'll heel toe, the feet together. From here, we'll go to the top of the mat. We'll go to our second side. And today, let's do some sun salutations. Very, very slow. I'm going to skip some parts and let us just focus on a few poses here. And then as we move through the series of classes, we'll make the motion and the flow a little more complicated. We'll inhale, the arms can come out forward or out by your sides and up over your head. Exhale, bend your knees and elbows and slowly rotate your head and shoulders so that you're coming into a forward fold. Let it be a ragdoll forward fold. You're just hanging here. Let the next inhale bring you up halfway, straighten your knees, rest your hands. See if you can extend your hips one direction, the crown of your head the opposite direction. And we'll let the next exhale bend our knees. We're going to lower our body even more. I'm going to turn around and grab my blocks here before I lower all the way down so that I can step one foot back. And let's step the right foot back. And let that right knee sort of drop or float down onto the floor so that we're back in a runner's lunge. Take a breath here and then plant the hands on the floor or on the blocks if that's more comfortable. Tuck under the back feet, lift the back knee so that you can step the forward foot back behind you. That left foot is now equal with the right. You can float the knees down. Extend the spine so that you're in a diagonal from your knees to the crown of your head in half plank. As you exhale, keep your elbows in toward your side and slowly lower your upper body to the floor. Place your hands right under your shoulders and we'll come up for a half cobra. Inhaling. Lifting the head, neck, and chest, pressing into the hands, keeping the elbows in. Exhale to release. Take a breath here. And then tuck both sets of toes under the feet. Bring yourself up to table by pressing down on the hands, lifting up through the shoulders and hips. With both feet tucked under, come up into downward facing dog. And we'll come up to standing either by walking our feet towards our hands towards our feet, or we can float the knees down, come back into a little table, and then come up through a high kneel and step that back foot up. We're now at the top of the mat. We'll inhale our arms up overhead. Exhale, bring our hands to our heart. Good. Let's turn to face the back of the mat. So the long side away from your device and walk our feet out wide. Find that wide angle. Let's bring our hands to our hips, pressing down through the feet, lengthen through the top of the head on the inhale. And as you exhale, we'll pull our chest, head, neck forward, bend through the knees, maybe use the blocks here in the middle to help ourselves come into a wide angle forward fold on the opposite side. Let the next inhale, press down through the feet, lift up through the torso, flat back, come up to standing, arms can come up overhead too if you'd like. Exhale, hands to the heart. We'll now turn the foot towards the bottom of the mat, turning the toes 90 degrees, bending that knee, Setting up our warrior two pose here on the left side. Let's inhale, lifting the arms anywhere from down by your side up to parallel, even with the shoulders. Breathing here. And then exhaling, releasing the arms. Inhale, straighten the knee. Exhale, turn the foot. And then we'll walk the feet together or step our feet together. And we'll come to the bottom of the mat. Find your mountain here. I'm going to make a little adjustment. And we'll inhale our arms up overhead. Exhale, nose dive forward fold, bend the knees and elbows and come into that ragdoll forward fold. Inhale, come halfway up, flat back, hands to legs. Exhale, ground the hands, and this time we step the left foot back. You might grab the blocks, keep the body lifted here away from that forward leg as we release our hips to the floor, flat foot in the back, runner's lunge. Tuck under those back toes, lift the back knee, come into either a plank or a half plank. Breathe. And then let the next exhale lower the body slowly to the floor. Hands underneath shoulders, face just millimeters from the mat. Let's inhale into a half cobra, elbows in, pressing through the hands and fingers. Exhale to release. Inhale, we'll come up to table and to downward facing dog. We can come up to standing the same way as before to be able to find our mountain as we press down through our feet, lift up through our torso, arms come up overhead, and we'll exhale our hands to our heart. And we'll turn to face the front of the mat. From here, let's move into a balance pose, and let's try tree today. So pressing into both feet, really feeling the four corners of the feet on the mat. Letting the feet grip and really root. Letting the body help the feet by leaning into it, letting gravity work here. And let's bend one knee. We'll turn that knee out and the foot out. So the knee and the foot are 90 degrees from where they started. And we can stay here with a really wide foundation. We can move a little in, bringing that heel closer to the standing leg ankle. We can even pick up the foot, set it against the lower leg. Use a hand, set it against the upper thigh, anywhere but the knee. And find your stillness through staring at one particular place in front of you. Maybe it's on the wall, maybe it's on the floor, a few feet ahead of where your body is. See if you can find length in the pose, maybe grow your branches. Stretching here, almost like a full body stretch, helping you wind down. We'll release the hands on the next exhale, release the legs and shake them out or step from side to side. Let's move to tree on the opposite side. First coming to mountain, bending the opposite knee, rotating 90 degrees, figuring out where should my base be here, where should both feet be? What do I need on this side that may be the same as the opposite side or different? And then do I want to extend by lifting, or do I want to keep lower and do more grounding? Using a drishti point to focus the eyes. Feeling that length that you felt on the other side. And then releasing arms, releasing legs, shaking it out, stepping it out, moving it out, wiggling it out. And let's go ahead and move down to the mat for our cool down. We can go ahead and sit down so that our feet are in front of us. And our knees are bent to the sky. And let's just rock back and forth on each sit bone. And let's use our abdomen to lean back. Let's just sort of see what our comfort level is there, whether our spine wants to handle this today or not. If your spine is not cooperating when you lean back, you can lean forward, turn this into more of a back strength lengthener instead of strengthener, instead of abdominal strengthener here, leaning back. Just want you to get that sense of using the tightness in your core to sort of stop your body leaning back and hold here. When you're ready to get out of it, you can get out of it. And when you're ready to go back into it, you can get back into it. And the next time you're leaning back, just keep lowering yourself to the floor slowly. Maybe bring both knees into the chest. One at a time or both together, and hug the legs towards you. See if you can round the spine, really get the lumbar lengthened and laying on the floor. And then release both knees, let the feet float down to the floor. And let's take a full body stretch, stretching those legs out, stretching the arms up and back. Maybe stretching the bottom of the body, then the top limbs, then stretching opposite arm and leg on each side, and then stretching the same arm and leg on each side. And then we'll walk the feet back up onto the mat. And let's cross the right leg over the left, just as if we were sitting in a chair and we wanted to cross our legs. So we can keep the right foot crossed over the left foot on the ground, or we can lift the left foot up, bringing the heel about knee height. Using our core here the whole time. We can also take breaks and lower. So let me show you. Let's put our arms in eagle arms by inhaling out wide like wings. Exhaling, bring the hands and palms together, the elbows together, and then we'll bend the elbows. We can cross the left elbow over the right and wrap our arms around each other here. Or we can keep the hands and elbows just pressing as closely as they can get toward one another. Just activating the muscles in the shoulders here. That's all we're trying to do. Now let's inhale to lift the tips of the fingers back behind us. So we're doing our eagle arms and legs. We could bring our elbows and knees together and then let the hands and feet come apart. Maybe lower them to the floor. And then bring elbows and knees together. And we're moving very slowly. Notice the pelvis rocking to tuck the tailbone and then rocking to lift the tailbone up and back. Let's release this and bring our legs into butterfly, pressing the soles of our feet together, just reclining here for a moment.
Excuse me, maybe grabbing our blocks.
increasing our comfort by placing them underneath the legs. Take a couple more breaths here in reclined butterfly. And then let the next inhale bring the knees together, come back onto both feet. And this time we'll cross the left knee over the right. Coming into our eagle legs. Let's inhale, get our eagle arms going. First, bringing the arms out wide like wings, then exhaling to draw the hands together. This time, right elbow is on top if you're winding your lower arms together. And then inhale and lift your hands and your elbow towards the top of the mat. You can just move hands and leave the feet alone. Your right foot could stay resting on the floor. You could bring the elbows and knees together and then apart. Do what's comfortable. Take one more breath and then come back into your butterfly shape. Reclined butterfly once again. Arms can be wherever they're comfortable. Legs relaxed and open. Feet gently pressing against one another. Let the next inhale lift the knees back up towards the sky. Come on to the feet. And from here, let's come into windshield wipers. And so as we exhale, our knees can both go to the right. We'll inhale, the knees can come back to center. And we'll exhale our knees to the left. We can move our head opposite direction of the knees as we inhale to lift and exhale to lower. Inhale to lift and exhale to lower. Next time your knees are up towards the sky, you can draw both knees towards the chest again, wrap the arms around the legs, or wrap them underneath the calves, holding on somewhere. And then we can rock back and forth. Let's bring our knees and our torso and our head back to center. Let the feet float back down to the mat. And we'll release both knees over to the right to be able to come into a two-legged twist here. Let your next inhale widen your arms out to the side, maybe wide like wings. And then turn your chin away from the bent legs. Maybe bring a block in between your knees here to help the comfort, or between the ankles if they're pressing into one another. And let a few breaths just settle you into this posture. Letting your mind come back to your breath as often as it wanders. As you inhale next, we'll straighten out the chin over the sternum. We'll lift the knees. And we'll set up our twist On the opposite side, stacking the knees and ankles, or perhaps not. Inhaling the arms once again, maybe using cactus arms, rotating the chin, opposite of the knees, keeping the body grounded through this twist. Letting the breath slow down. Let the next inhale center the chin. We can lift up the knees once more. And let's move into student choice. You can do a yoga walk by lifting the legs. You can stretch your toes, point your feet, flex them, roll your ankles. You can do happy baby. You can do wind relieving pose, another reclined butterfly, piriformis stretch. What is your body calling you to do? Before you lie in stillness. And as you're ready, gently make your way to Shavasana, setting yourself up with your head on a comfortable mini platform. Maybe you keep the knees bent, feet wide, rest the legs in on one another. Maybe you'd rather straighten the knees. It doesn't hurt your back. Maybe you have a bolster you can put under your knees. Find a comfortable position for your body. Let yourself begin to settle in stillness. Arms where they're comfortable, palms up or palms down. Maybe picking up the middle of the back, sending the shoulders further down and flattening them. And then taking a deep breath in, noticing how much more open the lungs are here. And work to lengthen the breath as you close your eyes. Moving into a more meditative part of the practice. Focusing on the breath, maybe focusing on other sensations in the body. Maybe looking for areas of tightness and trying to release those areas through the mind. Being able to invite a feeling of heaviness into the body. Each area, looking for places that are still holding on. See if you can smooth your breath out. Perhaps find another pause to play with or explore your breath in another way. And perhaps you're just working on evening out the breath. Perhaps you're working on lengthening just the exhale. But let's be able to release the body as much as possible, relaxing here on the floor, safe in our homes. And as you're ready, begin to rock your head from left to right, starting to wake up the body. We'll move a little more this week before we close our class to sort of get us to a more alert state to be able to handle the rest of our evening here. So just rocking the head from side to side for another moment or two. And then bringing the chin back to center, rolling over onto one side, stacking hips and shoulders, and pressing up away from the floor slowly, bringing yourself up into a seated position, maybe using the prop to elevate the hips again. Let's sit up nice and tall in whatever shape our legs are in is fine. Let's inhale our arms up one more time, sun breath. Bring our hands and palms together and exhale, hands to the heart, closing down the eyes and releasing the chin towards the chest as we bow to the divine that's found in each one of us. The light in me honors the light in you. Let the next inhale lift the chin. We'll flutter open the eyes, release the hands, and thank you so much for joining me today for a little gentle wind down. If you'd like to take some sun breaths, just wake up the body, stretching in different ways before you start your next thing. Please feel free. Take care and see you next time.